Let's talk about why this new NAR settlement is going to be one of the biggest opportunities in real estate. I'm Mike Oddo. On this channel, we go over marketing, business, and finance. If you want to grow your business, hit that subscribe button. With the NAR ruling, everybody else is peddling a lot of fear. It's clickbaits, it's fear mongering. One of the things that I was always taught was a mental model from Napoleon Hill. My father instilled it in me as a young man. It's that every adversity has with it the seed of equal or greater benefit. And what that means is that whenever something adverse happens, there's something great that's going to come out of it. In the recession, when I was selling homes, everybody was fearful. Everybody shut off their marketing. I had the good fortune of being able to follow a really prolific marketer named Dan Kennedy. And he said, in recessions, if you can turn your marketing up, you're going to get much more bang for the buck. I did, and that worked. So with this, there are things we can do that will turn this into the biggest opportunity of your career if you just make some subtle changes while everyone else is afraid, while everyone else is saying, be afraid. It's our time to look for that benefit that's out there, and it is tremendous. Some of the biggest companies in our country were starting during the Great Depression, and some other ones during the Great Recession, right? If you look, Facebook came out of the Great Recession. There was a lot of winners. So anytime that there's change, there are tremendous winners that come out of it, and I want you to be one of them. In my entire career, I've been licensed for 23 years now, going on 24. And I haven't ever seen any kind of an opportunity like this. And I want to unpack that, and I want to talk to you about some tactics on what you can do to make sure that you're able to not just survive during this thing, but actually thrive through it. Now, one of the things that most agents do is when they're talking to a customer, they're used to converting on sign calls and showing requests. That is what's called the bottom of the buyer's journey, or the bottom of the funnel, right? And so if you think about the journey of a customer, they don't wake up one day and go run out and buy a home, right? They start to think about it, and then they start to gather data little by little. It's usually surrounded by a life event, right? Maybe they have had another child, maybe their kids have left and they're empty nesters, maybe there's a divorce, a job transfer, right? All of these things that happen in people's lives start to trigger this process of them going down this customer journey of where they are now to the end result of buying a home. So again, most agents are used to converting all the way down here. They love the leads that are ready to go now because it means a quick paycheck in their pocket. However, if you back up a little bit and zoom out, what you'll find is that, number one, most of the focus is on those customers in your marketplace. So if you've got, just for math's sake, let's say 2,000 transactions a year and 1,000 agents in your market, you've got 1,000 people focused on that now business, right? And that's where all of the people are competing. If you go out one ring to 3 months out, you'll find that there's less people focused on those folks that are going to move in 3 months. If you go out another ring to 6 months out, there's virtually no competition there. The reason why this is so hard is because in real estate, everybody has a system to bill us, but nobody has a system to pay the bills, right? So what we want to do is we want to make sure that we're kind to ourselves 3 months from now, we're kind to ourselves 6 months from now, and we're building up a pipeline of customers that we can work with that are 3 months out, 6 months out, even 9 and 12 months out, right? And so the way that you do this is you get that person to raise their hand and become a prospect, right? A lead earlier in the process. What this allows you to do is differentiate yourself from all of the other agents that are out there. And it allows you to do it in a really nice, easy, cool way that's unintimidating, and that allows you to really solidify that relationship early on. So as they start to move down that path, because 3 months is coming, right? It's going to be there for you just as sure as it is for them. They only think of you when they think about making that home purchase. Now, we know that almost 3/4 of especially home buyers do business with the first agent they meet. So if you think about it, the goal is to have a mechanism in place to get them to raise their hand and identify themselves earlier in the process. Just the other day, I was checking out at Walgreens, and they said, "Hey, do you want to fill out your Walgreens card so you can get your discount?" And I said, "You mean my data mining card?" And she said, "What are you talking about?" And I said, "Well, there's data analytic companies, and what they do is they buy that information and they actually sell it to third-party marketers. And if you were to buy, for example, a pregnancy test, that would go to a third-party marketer. And oftentimes, if you're working with real estate technology, you'll find that that data shows up within real estate tech, and they say, 'Hey, this person's 62% likely to sell their home here soon.'" She said, "Oh, it's so funny you said that. We used to actually have that happen, and they would send out, information packets about having your new baby, before the mother even knew she was pregnant. And it got a lot of people mad and it got a lot of families upset because they didn't even know they were pregnant, but our data did. And so, when you think about that, the ability to be able to have a mechanism to get somebody to identify themselves earlier in the process, this allows you to roll with this NAR proposed change. It allows you to talk to them earlier, meet with them earlier, have that conversation about representation earlier, so that you're not trying to have it when you're at the end of the process and they just want to get in this house and all of a sudden you're having this awkward conversation, in the driveway of, oh, hey, I need you to sign this thing. Now, for me, and most of the top agents that I know, every single buyer that we ever did business with came to our office first, signed up to a buyer's agency agreement, and this process worked like clockwork, right? We also had an in-house mortgage company, so as soon as they signed up, we'd say, hey, by the way, are you pre-approved? Here's the benefits of getting pre-approved. If you think about it from a seller's perspective, if you write an offer that's subject to you getting financing, you're not going to be as strong of an offer as somebody who writes one with a pre-approval letter, because that's about as good as cash, right? Oh, that makes sense. Cool. Well, if you don't mind, I've got our loan officer right here. I'll go ahead and introduce you. Now, they don't have to be in-house for you to do that. You can actually have somebody just call them. But the point is, this process is by far the best process that you could ever hope to have if you're going to be in the real estate business the next 12 months, 5 years, 10 years. It is going to make a lot of people a lot of money, and it's going to make your life that much easier. Now, some of the benefits of doing this and doing it in this way are you don't have to be available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. These people are committed to you just like you're committed to them. Another benefit is you don't have to leave your commission up to a listing agent anymore. A lot of listing agents, in my opinion, and in my market, weren't as competent as I was. So there was no way I was leaving my listing or my commission up to them, right? So I would have that all hammered out before I ever took that person out and showed them a house. There are some tips and tricks that you'll need. Number one, you're going to need a good presentation so that you can communicate your value proposition to the customer well in advance of taking them out to show them homes. Another thing that you're going to need is what's called risk reversal. And so it's daunting for a customer to sign this. You want to have the ability for them to still fire you like they could in the past and just say, hey, look, if you don't feel like I'm holding up to my end of the bargain, if you don't feel like I'm doing a good job for you, you have the ability to fire me anytime. Does that sound fair? That's going to make the process of getting someone to sign this almost seamless, right? There's not going to be a lot of resistance with that involved. So you're going to need some type of a cancellation guarantee, some type of risk reversal. Now, I'm saying these things, and I'm saying this before the actual, what's the word? Before the actual settlement has been signed. So there could be a couple of curveballs between now and then, but it's okay because, as I said the other day, capitalism is efficient. We're going to find the best way to serve the consumer. We're going to find the best way to serve the industry. But right now, these are the things that I think that every agent who is really competent should be thinking about, should be working on, should be making sure that they're dialing into their business in anticipation of this coming, in the next few months. One of the things that I've always been taught and that I implement in my life is a great saying, and it's that every adversity has with it the seed of equal or greater benefit. And what I always look for is anytime there's something that appears to be an adversity, what the equal or greater benefit of it is going to be. So that's just one benefit that I wanted to point out to you guys, and I want to give you some tactics that you could start implementing right now in your business.